Hello, my name's Josh, and this is going to be my tutorial on how to use JUnit to do test-driven development effectively. The requirements for this are that you have Eclipse downloaded and you know how to do a little bit of basic Java programming. So we're going to go into Eclipse, and as you see here, I already have a calculator.java class created. And so what you do here is you go to the Package Explorer, going to right-click the class that you are making a test for, go to New, and then we go to JUnit test case down here. And it's going to be default called whatever your class is, test. And so we're going to want to do that. Alright, and now we click the plus up here to see what we've actually imported. And we're just going to import everything in JUnit. You know, we're not really worried about memory, so we're good to do that. And so we're making a calculator today, so I'm going to go over here to my skeleton, and we got to ask ourselves, what does a calculator need to do? What are the requirements? So it needs to be able to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. So let's see. I guess my first thing I would do is I'd make an at before, because I want to build my calculator object. So I want to use my calculator and all my methods to test all of my add, subtract, divide methods. So I'm going to make a global calculator variable. And before I do any of my test cases, I'm going to do this method here, which is going to make calculator. So this will test the constructor as well to make sure that that's working. So I'm going to initialize my variable, c equals new calculator. Alright, so that's going to test my constructor. Now I want to do my test cases, so I'm going to do my test annotation. The annotation is very important because they decide when the methods are executed. So then I'm going to go down here, I'm going to do public void add test. This is going to test my add method. So in order to test, we're going to use the AssertTrue method. So what I'm testing is that my add method works. So what an add method does is it adds two numbers together. So c.add, because c is the name of my calculator, and I guess I'm adding two numbers together, so let's say 2 and 2, and if I'm correct, that'll equal 0, right? And the add method's not done yet, so that's why that's there. That's how test-driven development works. So my next test case is going to be for subtraction. So subtract test, and I again make sure to specify that this is a test file, so it gets executed between the before and the after annotations. So subtract test. So assert true again, because if this isn't true, then obviously my subtraction method's not working. So c subtract 2, 2. This is actually before. Got my subtraction and my addition confused. I'm not too good at math. So subtract 2 from 2, and that should be 0. So next we're going to test our divides method. Public void, and these again are all void methods because they don't return anything. So assert true. Let's see. I guess we can say divide 5 over 2, or divide 5 and 2 equals 2.5. That should be correct if I do my divides method correctly. Then one last test case for multiplication, public void mult test, assert true. So now what this assert true statement does is if what's inside it is not true, then the test case will fail. So multiply 5 and 2 equals 10. So gotta go in there and make sure I'm actually calling them from the calculator class, otherwise it's not going to work too well. So now we're going to go into my calculator class, and with the test-driven development in mind, we're going to make our methods. So public, and I'll be back to you when the methods are complete. Alrighty then, so here we have our sample calculator class. Everything compiles correctly and it's ready to go. So now I'm going to go back to my test cases and make sure everything is good here. Oh wait, okay. I called that multiply. What's the error here? Okay, I just had a spelling error. And now we're going to run the test cases. Yeah, everything compiles correct. Alright, so we're going to run the test cases. I'm using the Android Eclipse, so I need to specify which one I want to use. And let's see what happened. Oh wow, 2 failures, okay. So we can see where the failures are by looking over here at where the Package Explorer was. When you run a JUnit test case, this interface opens up. So we can see over here that I have the divide test failed and the subtract test failed. You can tell because of the little red X there. And the green arrow means the test case passed. So yay, my add and my multiply work. My divide and my subtract do not. So now I get to go over here and debug my code. So it says divide test didn't work, so that means my divide method doesn't work. Let's see, what reason would that not work? Oh, because I did 5 divided by 2 equals 2.5. That'll never work. These need to be doubles. Integer division was my error. And now we'll look over here again and make sure that works. Return. This has to be a double as well. So now we're going to go back over here and we are going to try to run my test case again. Again, this is one of the great benefits of JUnit, is that, to do your confirmation testing or your regression testing, it takes almost no time. You just go back to your test cases and press run. So my divide test works this time. Awesome. And now I'm going to go back to subtract. Well, I think that's my problem right there, is I got a plus sign for my subtract method. So make sure that's fixed. Now I go back here and I'm going to run my test case for that. And it takes a second. Everything ran just fine. We're good to go.